In this video, I'm going to take you on a tour of the WordPress admin panel, or the dashboard as it's known. So this is where you will do the bulk of the work on your WordPress site, including setting it up, applying themes, and changing the content. So first of all, let's look at posts. So WordPress was originally designed to be a blog platform, and posts are the standard format for a blog update. So at the moment we've only got one post. If I try and edit that, you can see that we can change the title up here. My first blog post. And we can change the content down here. Now we can either use the settings up there to change the layout on the look of our content, or as we are web developers, I'd rather use the HTML view, and then you can have more control over your content and the layout of it. So there's various other options that we're not really going to go into in great detail. You can change the post format, you can change the post category, we'll look at categories shortly, add tags to a post, and change the main image for a post. So all reasonably straightforward. You would use this to post to your blog and update it and make changes. You'll notice that by default the URL is not particularly friendly. It's $p is equal to 1. We can fix that very easily by changing the permalinks. So permalinks are what WordPress uses to decide how to display your content in terms of what the URL should look like. So you've got various default choices. I usually go for the post name as being the setup that I use. Okay, great. And now if we just update that, we'll see that the permalink has changed from WordPress to Hello World. Now I don't actually want Hello World, I want my first blog post. So I can just update it right there and then click update to see it. So if I want to actually look at the post, I can click it there. And there we've got a post, and we've got a default comment as well. We'll have a look at comments shortly. So that's editing and creating a post. Looking at categories, if you're going to be blogging a great deal, then having categories that your users can look at to find posts that interest them are a very good idea. It's pretty straightforward. You can just add a new category right there, and then it's created there, and then you can add posts and pages to that category. You can also add subcategories and organize the categories however you like. Tags are similar to categories in that they allow you to arrange your posts and allow users to find them, but they're slightly looser. So categories, you need to have a set layout of categories, so every category either goes on its own or has a subcategory. With tags, you can just have as many tags as you like, and each tag will then apply to as many posts as you want it to. So far, so straightforward. The media section of a WordPress dashboard is where you upload and manage your files, like images and possibly videos, sound files, and anything else that you want to use in your posts. So just to show you how it works, if we want to add new media, we can either upload something by dropping it into this large box, or we can start selecting. So if I go into my websites and CSS, we've got a couple of images there. Let's go for the BBC logo. So then you'll see it's uploaded, and you can edit it right there, change the caption, change the alt text, which is the text that appears if someone can't access the image for whatever reason, and various other things about the image. Great, so now that we've got that image, we could use it in our posts anywhere. And WordPress also does a very good job of resizing images. So you can choose to upload a very large image and then just refer to smaller versions of it when you don't need the full size. Great. Pages are much like posts, but they're designed to be used for more static content. So if you've got a website with a contact form, for example, that wouldn't be considered a post, that would be considered a page. So they're not generally ordered by date, they're ordered by however you want to put them in a particular menu. So on most sites, you'd have your blog page, which would contain all of your blog posts, and then you'd have several different pages, maybe an About Us page, maybe a portfolio page, and maybe a contact page, all sorts of other pages that you might have, and then they would contrast with posts by being fairly static and not arranged by date. So that's pages. Comments are fairly straightforward. You can either allow comments or not on each of your pages and posts. We've just got one demo comment here. I can either mark it as spam, put it in the trash, or do various other things with it. So comments, again, are reasonably straightforward. We're not going to go into them in any great detail, but we will look at a couple of ways to remove spam from your WordPress blog, which is quite a problem for anyone who's run a WordPress site before. So in the next video, we're going to look in much more detail at themes, but themes are obviously a pretty critical part of your website. It's another great reason to use WordPress because there's a number of free themes and paid for themes that you can use to make your site look really good very, very quickly. I'm going to come back to appearance later on. Plugins are another big reason to use WordPress. Most plugins are free, but there are a number of paid ones, and you can find a plugin to do pretty much anything you like. So if you want to add calendars to a page, contact forms, whole shops, forums, anything that you'd want to add to your site, you can do with a plugin. And we'll look at a couple of specific plugins in more detail later on. Users is most useful if you want to have a number of different users on your site. So this might be just people that are commenting on your posts, or it might be people that take a more active role in your site, such as users of a forum, or people who have purchased something in your shop. Again, we'll look at those in more detail later on. And then tools we'll have a quick look at now. Really, the only thing that you're going to use tools for is importing and exporting content. So if you've got content in another blog system, you can import it, or if you want to switch it from one WordPress host to another, then you can use this to export your content or import it somewhere else. And finally, we'll have a quick look through the settings menu. So we've already created the site title, a tagline. You can add very easily. You can change your URL, etc., time and date format, all fairly straightforward. Writing options, again, pretty straightforward. The email post is very useful if you're going to be updating your blog regularly. You can set it up so that you can just email your email address and that will update to your blog automatically. So very useful if you want to post really quickly without logging in, messing around with the formatting, etc. Now, the one setting that I normally change straight away when I start a new WordPress site is to change from the front page from your latest posts to a static page. So it depends what your site is going to be used for, but generally speaking, your blog probably won't be the front page of your site. It will likely be a static page, and then users can then find your blog within that if you want them to. And a few other bits of options there. And then you've got a few options for comments. So you might want to disable comments completely if it's not that sort of site, or you might want to force users to register to leave comments. You can have a look at the options yourself. And permalinks we've already looked at. So media, just allows you to set the default sizes for the thumbnail image, medium and large sizes of images. Now, it can be a little bit difficult to get to grips with what WordPress is actually doing without having a reasonable amount of demo content. So there's a very useful site, wpcandy.com, who have created some demo content. And we're just going to download that and put this into the site that we're working with. Partly to show you how to import content, and partly so that we've actually got something to look at when we're looking at themes and other options. So that's been downloaded. So now I can just use the import tool from WordPress. I need to install the WordPress importer plugin to do that. That's all very straightforward. And now I can just choose my import file, which will be posts.xml. We haven't looked at XML files yet, but we will do in the APIs section of the course. And then upload and import. Great. All done. So now if we have a look at the posts, we've got a nice range of posts to work with there. A few pages, etc. So let's have a little look at what our site looks like now. So our home page is our sample page with a comment form on the bottom, and we've got recent posts now just down there. So there's our sample one, and then a post with some images, headings, etc. And along here we've got our menu, which looks really good. So two more things I want to show you before we look at installing themes. The first is the fact that WordPress has search built in. So adding search to a website is a reasonably complex task. You've got to create the code to search through the content of your site. You've got to keep your site in a database or somewhere where it's searchable, and then you have to find a way to rank the various search results. So if you're going to have a site where you want to have a search option, WordPress really is a no-brainer. I'd definitely go for that rather than create a search system by hand. And the last thing then is just to look at how we edit and manage menus. Let's go back to the WordPress dashboard. So menus are hidden in Appearance. If we have a look at the menu there. So we don't have any custom menus yet. We only have the default one, which contains all of the pages. So we'll just have an example menu. And then if we select the pages that we want to add to our menu and add them there, then you've got your menu, and you can just drag things around as you want. If I want to put support inside Contact Us, for example, then I can do that. So very easy to create menus. Save that there. And now that we've created a menu, you'll notice that we have this Manage Locations tab. So we can now decide which menu goes in the top primary menu area. So I've now assigned that. Let's have a look. So now the menu that we created there is the one up there. So it's very easy to manipulate your content, change layouts, and build a reasonably sophisticated site without actually doing any coding. What you're probably wondering though is, how can we make this site look great? Well, that's where themes come in, and we'll look at those in the next video.